Hello, you lucky people. It's Friday, it's midday, which means one thing only. It's Wow Ergonomics with myself and Stephen Howell. Stephen, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well. We're back again, Graham. Friday at lunch, Friday lunchtime, as ever,
The
as
week
ever.
has, the weeks just disappear. They're just coming around as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. For today's episode, we have a special guest. We're going to make the border disappear. Please take note of the name at the top of the border, by the way, back at Elkheisen. Nice
Was it
sponsors of this
over there?
wonderful
No,
show.
over there. Yeah.
Up there. But we'll make it disappear. And we'll say hello to the wonderful Lisa. Hello, Lisa. How are you?
Hello, how are you doing, Graham and Stephen?
Hello.
Well,
Very well, thank you. Very well.
absolutely lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Where are you coming from today?
Manchester.
Oh, okay. So we're between the three of us. We follow a lovely line
Yes.
up this side of the country, all the way from Somerset through Birmingham and up to Manchester. And is the weather as peachy in Manchester today as it is in Somerset?
19 degrees, which isn't bad for Manchester.
Oh, okay.
Dare we ask the question? Is it raining though, Lisa?
No, that's an urban myth. It
I
doesn't
know.
rain all the time.
You got to get that one out of the way, haven't you?
Yeah, you do.
I think we're due to get up to around about 24, 25 today down in Somerset, which is wonderful. Finally, a little bit of sunshine. Probably going to rain tomorrow. There we go. Lisa, tell us, what is it you do?
So I am the owner of Hampers. We are a sustainable, eco-friendly hamper company that specialises in inclusion. So we don't make sure that nobody misses out. So we specialise in dietary and cultural hampers. So with 10 million people in the UK with allergens, we make sure that they don't miss out. But also the no waste principles. So we want you to pick the hamper that you actually want instead of regifting or putting in a cupboard and then putting in the bin.
Do you know what? I love this, Stephen. Absolutely love this. How many times have you had a hamper and it's just been full of stuff you don't ever want to use?
I got last Christmas from Backer Elkhausen a wonderful, wonderful Italian hamper. But the only problem was half of it was fabulous and I loved it. The other half was like, that just isn't for me. So actually, I managed to gift it out to friends. So it got used. It didn't go to waste. But it was like, oh, I sort of feel like I've had half a present. I sort of feel like I've lost that other half of a gift that I really would have liked.
Yeah. And I think also many of our products are charity based as well. So while you're gifting, you're re-gifting. So our IPAs and lagers are either animal conservations or men's mental health.
Wow.
So it's really important for me as an ex-nurse and ex-social worker that we also re-gift and we look after each other. And I think that's a really good way of doing it.
Wow. How did you make that transition, Lisa, from your previous roles into doing this?
I think most people don't realise your gut's your second brain. So if you're not looking after your gut, you're not looking after your brain. And also I saw that a lot of people, when I was visiting homes in social care or nursing, their diets weren't that great. And sugar, we all need to be aware of how damaging sugar is to your mental health as well as your gut. And so I made the very brave, I think now looking back, decision to leave a caring profession after 30 years. But I absolutely love what I do. And I think it's really important that we can save the community and the environment by just looking at how we gift.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Are you concerned as you look around how, or perhaps if you're looking across social media on a day-to-day basis and looking at people's LinkedIn profiles and how they talk about food, just what some people eat because they're busy?
Hugely, and I think you don't have to eat badly just because you're busy. And I think that's one of the messages we're trying to get. Even your snacks do not have to be full of sugar, full of salt. There's lots of really good products on the market. We tend to help the small business companies. So 99% of our products are not on the shelves in the supermarkets. So for me, it's about us all supporting each other as small businesses to make sure that we get that message, because I find that small businesses understand diet better, because they actually have a message rather than just trying to be about consumerism and get people in to spend.
Now, you
Lisa,
see,
what's the biggest misconception about food, Lisa? When you were going around in your sort of, social care role, what was the thing that you sort of came across where people thought it was okay to do it, and you would just put your head in your hands and go, where did you ever hear that? Where did you think that was a good idea? What's the biggest thing that we do wrong that we actually think isn't bad for us?
I think for me also, cooking isn't that rocket science in lots of ways. People think that cooking is a difficult thing to do, and I think it's probably going back to those old traditions and maybe making stews, or I don't know about yourselves, but when we used to have a chicken on a Sunday, it would become into a chicken stew or a curry, where now that gets wasted because people don't think they can do that. So I think that, and people will say, oh, I can't afford fresh food, but then they go to McDonald's. Sorry, I shouldn't have probably named them. But
other fast food is available.
Yeah. The cost of having food there is so expensive. So if people actually had that balanced view, they could actually probably get a couple of meals out of what they've paid for, a family meal.
Yeah, no, totally understand that. My wife always comes home complaining about sugar in foods, because obviously she works within the dental profession, and people do not understand sugar in foods. One of the biggest misconceptions, Stephen, is no added sugar on the label of a squash, for example, right? And she has to tell people constantly, day after day, that's got sugar in it. And they're like, but it says no added sugar. Yeah, that's right. It's got no added sugar. It's got sugar in it. That's what makes it taste nice.
But also a lot of things that I think, if I remember right, a lot of things that are labelled up as like the low-fat alternatives to things then tend to be quite sugar heavy, because they're trying to replace one thing with another. So they're badging themselves as this is low fat or whatever, but it has something in it that equally isn't good for you, but it gives that impression by using a certain wording. It draws people to that product that, oh, actually, it's okay for me to have that version of a product, but it's just then got other things instead that equally are bad for you.
Is that true, Lisa?
You're 100% correct. That's 100%. And I think that's yogurts are a major one for that.
Right.
If you look at the back of a yogurt pot, you would be probably horrified some of the things because they say low-fat yogurt. You go, oh, brill, and then you put it in. But actually, if you read the back of it, the other contents, you're like, oh, well, actually, no, that's not worth it.
Yeah. I'd love to know, Lisa, have you managed to get this into commercial buildings as well? Because, Stephen, we've talked about in the past, and I still think it's an area that needs exploring more, where somebody joins a business and they're gifted those things when they join as part of their kind of induction. And quite often what we see are things like food hampers or whatever, but it's all the naughty stuff, Lisa.
Yeah.
And yet, part of the values of that business and part of the rhetoric that comes out from the person that's running the business is that we're all about well-being, we're all about teaching, this and that. And yet what we see is that they're given a box of chocolates and a bottle of Prosecco and whatever. And we've said it would be, one of the things we'd love to see people get as part of their gifts is maybe some ergonomic advice and some aids as well, so that actually they're looking after themselves in terms of the way they sit. But have you managed to get into any organisations to, perhaps get the gift of a hamper, a good hamper for someone that's starting a job? Because that would be brilliant, folks.
Yeah, no, we work with an amazing solicitors in Birmingham, and they always have a welcome pack, but it's a relaxation one. They don't want a logo company on it. They want to basically say to the person, welcome. Because I think people feel sometimes when it's logoed, actually we're just selling your brand, where actually you're not thinking of me. And I think you're spot on. I mean, I've got allergens, and when I was a nurse and a social worker, people would give us gifts, and I'd go, "That's really nice, but I can't have them." So I would just keep walking past. And if you think of the demographics of those professions, there will be people who follow the Islamic faith, there will be people who follow the Jewish faith. So often these gifts have been given, or vegan, they've given gifts, but actually it's only for a small minority of people, rather than if you can be inclusive. So I would say, if you send a hamper out, you've got 10 million people with allergies in the UK, 8.5 million people with gluten intolerance. The likelihood, if you're sending a hamper to an office, there will be one of those people. So make sure it's an inclusive hamper, not, as you say, not just wine, or it's got to be inclusive for everybody.
I think this is brilliant. Just imagine, this is a much better way of actually starting the conversation with somebody that's just joining the business as well, rather than we need to know all about you because, for our records. What a wonderful way to say, look, we're so excited to bring you, have you on board. We'd love you to talk to, these people over here. They're going to provide you with a wonderful hamper on starting. It's not going to be logoed up with our business. It's just a real welcome gift to you. But it means that you can have a conversation with them about any of the allergens you've got, or any of the particular dietary needs that you've got, and you may get some great advice from that, which will help you long term with your health. That's just brilliant. That's what we need more of. Yeah, fantastic. Well,
yeah, I mean, simply just sending out a sort of a standard sort of gift, as Lisa said, and you're touching on there, Graham. It lacks personal touch. It lacks consideration as well, doesn't it? Where all of those things, if you're bringing new people on board, you want people to feel welcome. You do want them to feel, that the business is pleased they're joined. Actually, by doing that, by personalising, as it were, the gift, it really gets that person to sort of buy into that organisation that they're joining.
Yeah, I'd love to know as this goes out over the next week or so, and people catch up on it. I'd love to know, what kind of gift did you get when you joined? Well, I didn't get anything. A load of people will say, but if you did get something, what were you given? Was it personalised at all, or did it actually promote any of the values of the business, or did it just last for 5 minutes and make you sick? I don't know. Just let us know. It'd be good. It'd be interesting to find out. What sort of people are you looking to talk to, Lisa?
We work well with solicitors, recruitment agencies, but anybody who wants their staff to retain. So if you want to retain your staff, you need to know a bit about their staff. So some of the things I get is, I've had a gentleman who says, "Oh, I've had the same bottle of red wine for 25 years. My employees know I do not drink." Or, I've had that Moonpig card. So we handwrite the cards because I think that's important.
Wow.
So for me, that's also important, because if you've done a Moonpig card, yes, they're great, but actually they're not personalised. So, it's typed on, and, people want that pen still. I think still want that pen and somebody signing it.
Yeah, no, listen, I think this is marvellous. I want to ask you, what are some of the most popular things that people pick to go in their hampers? That perhaps things that we can't just go and get at the local supermarket.
So we use a company called Betty Hewlett that their packaging is sugarcane, and that is extremely popular. Products are top quality. Lisa, who's the owner, has really made lots of thoughts into how to use the product and how to help the environment as well. So that is an amazing, and she does everything from shower gels to hand cream, but that's extremely popular. For men, it's manicure sets and bike things to help fix their bikes. So that's been they've been really popular. And for Christmas time, things like cocktail in a baubles just flew off the shelf.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Manicure sets. Almost sounds like a little bit of an oxymoron, a manicure set and something to mend your bike.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you'd mend your bike first and then have the manicure.
Yeah.
Otherwise you could be
Get all
damaging
the
your
oil
nails.
out.
Yeah. Are men? I don't know. Are men actually that worried about the state of their hands? Mate, is that an indication that we're spending more time in front of people again, or that we're spending more time online, and maybe like your fingers are important? I don't know. Have you ever had a manicure, Stephen?
No,
No.
no. That's your hands, isn't it? And a pedicure's your feet. Is that right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, pedicures your feet, manicures your hands. Yeah. Wow. I have had it done, but only by the children at home, because they love playing, sort of manicures and pedicures, and so I've had my nails painted before now by my daughter, pretending to be a beautician, but I can't say that I've ever had a manicure in a shop or whatever before. But that's interesting that's there. But the bike one's interesting. Presumably that means we're seeing more people actually using a bike, which is good from a health point of view.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
bikes have been
people
more
are
popular.
looking after their health.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, again, going back to COVID as well, I think a lot of people took up biking during COVID, and it's good to hear that people are just carrying on doing that, because that was one of the, if you can say, one of the positives to come out with it was actually it encouraged a lot more people to sort of get involved in exercise and to take up new hobbies. So it's quite good to see that people are sort of or appear to be sort of carrying that on, as it were.
Yeah, I wonder whether that's actually says something about where people are working as well, because maybe if you don't necessarily have to travel into an office. I'm surmising here, but maybe if you don't have to travel into the office every single day, but you can actually you may do it, in more of a hybrid way. Actually, the bike starts to make sense because you're not doing that ride into work every day, but actually, and interestingly, an accountant's down the road from us, I saw a number of people, because my son's working there during the summer holidays, I saw a number of people turning up on their bikes the other day. It's fascinating watching people in suits try to ride a bike. But you have to buy those clips. I don't know whether you provide the clips as well, Lisa. Maybe that's something to think about in future. Maybe you can find
I'm sure we could if somebody asked.
A sustainable way of producing the clips for a bike. That is brilliant. I'm really. It's been fascinating talking to you today, Lisa, and hearing about your business. What do you see as the kind of growth factor for your business going forward? Where else do you feel that you can take this?
Well, we're being caught pending, which is really good. So that means we put the environment and community before profit. We've won 11 awards. I think
Brilliant.
we can only grow. We want to help the community, so we would want apprentices, and just to get the message out about inclusion, really, that nobody does need to miss out. And that people understand sustainability. So everything we use is plastic free. So, we're on a full mission to be fully plastic free by the end of this year, which we're well on target for. Even down to our crisp packets are plastic free. So, we are on our way to our journey, really, of making sure that people get everything they want.
Well, I think that's brilliant. I'd love to applaud you, Lisa, for what you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest today and talking about this. I must catch up with you on a one-to-one sometime, and I will make sure that I'll get a date in the diary to do that. But thank you for coming on today. Please, if you haven't connected to Lisa on any of the social platforms, please do. EZ Hampers or Easy Hampers. Whichever way you want to pronounce it, and do check that out. I think that's fantastic. Thank you. We'll say goodbye now, and we'll speak to you again soon. Thank you so much
Lisa.
for coming on.
Bye.
Thank you. Brilliant. So there you are.
Really
that was really, really interesting, wasn't it?
I was waiting though, and I didn't mention it, but as soon as I hear a certain fast food chain, Graham, I always go back to your story about the assessment you did for the lady who was having permanent
every day.
tiredness at work, and she was eating. Wasn't she eating McDonald's for every meal, or something like that, or breakfast and lunch, or something like that? So,
Every single meal of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and there's nothing wrong with the odd bit of fast food. You know, and some of those fast food chains as well do have, you know, alternatives on the menu as well. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the trouble is how many people pick the healthy alternatives when they do go to those fast food places, or, you know, do they ramp it up to, you know, the highest calorie, highest sugar, highest whatever.
Have you seen there's the double Big Mac that's been going on over the summer? Double Big Mac. Have you
I've
taken
done
it on?
Yeah, I've
Have
done
you?
that. Yeah. 3 mouthfuls I can do that in.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? I'm impressed. I think we need to see that done live.
This is the wrong.
A man versus food
I know,
challenge.
but maybe this is the wrong. You know, now after we've said all of that great stuff about eating healthy, and then we come out with this, and also maybe this is just the wrong platform for it, just because, you know, we shouldn't really be promoting that. But if you do want to see it, I'll try and do it somewhere on the internet. Next time. In fact, oh no, that's going to be breakfast. I was going to say we're going to stop there for breakfast on Monday next week, just because that's a treat, an odd treat for the kids.
Right.
But next time I am there, if they're still doing it, I might film it. There we go.
I think you should. You can be the new Adam Richman, the UK's man versus food champion, Graham versus double Big Mac.
My kids love that. My kids
man
love that.
Food.
Yeah, it's quite worrying. It's quite. The trouble is, it's quite an addictive thing as well, isn't it? I mean, I think we all love to see, in some ways, the extent to which we can morph our mouths around food. But in all honesty, it's diabolical that actually people eat so much junk food, and we do need to get healthy. But I thought that was interesting for a number of reasons. I thought it was interesting because it does tie into what we were saying. That business wouldn't be being such a success if there aren't people that are more interested in well-being and promoting well-being within their business. So
because otherwise they'd just be knocking the same old hamper out to everyone, the same generic. Everyone gets the same. Get on with it. Yeah, that's what would be happening, and therefore there'd be no need for a business like Lisa's.
Correct, but also I'm interested because there's obviously a narrative within some of the people that she's talking to about, as she said, inclusion and making sure that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but actually an individualised solution, which is perfect for us from an ergonomics point of view. I think it would actually be worth you touching base with her afterwards and seeing whether or not, you know, we could actually add, or maybe a dealer could get involved in that as well. Maybe you could be adding in ergo stuff to, especially the recycle or the cyclica range.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd say I hadn't thought that. I didn't think that was where you were going, but actually, as you say, it's all about that welcoming and health and well-being, and what we do, you know, as we've discussed, ties in nicely with that. And I know we've mentioned before about gift packs and welcome packs and whatever, but that's exactly what a hamper is. So no, it's interesting. I will catch up with Lisa. There might potentially be an opportunity or an angle to think about those organisations, if they are interested in it, just going that little bit further, extending it beyond that nice welcome gift to actually, here's something that's going to make you healthy and productive from the beginning of your career with this organisation.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that's going to get driven as well by, if you listen to the kind of organisations that she's dealing with, I wonder how much of it's going to get driven by accreditations that those businesses are trying to gain. I think that could be a really interesting one going forward. I mean, clearly, you know, if you're interested in sustainable solutions as well, just wonder how much of that's then going to be about, well, actually, we're proving that we're sustainable to this level because actually this is going to get us this ISO, or this is going to actually get us this kite mark or whatever, or this award, in which case actually that then leads on to them going, right, actually we need to think about sustainability when it comes to everything. And I just love the whole connection between health and well-being and sustainability and that whole piece. Yeah. How have you found, in terms of being out there, how are you finding people on the narrative of sort of sustainability at the moment? Because I'm guessing on the one hand, people are still conscious that we need to do something for the planet.
Yeah.
You know, and after COVID, I think that kind of ramped all of that up. I mean, people were suddenly conscious that, you know, when we weren't having jets going through the sky and we didn't have cars on the road or whatever, we saw wildlife coming back out and flourishing and whatever. And it was, you know, it made us all stop to think, well, actually, look what happens when we're not out there spoiling it. But at the same time, of late, it's been difficult in terms of prices are going up, cost of living's going up. So is it still as high on the agenda, or are people kind of struggling to find that kind of middle ground?
I think you made a really good point there. I think you still got two sort of issues sort of clashing, as you say. I don't think there's any business out there that isn't interested around circularity, around recycled, about how the product is made, what can they do with it end of life. In my experience, I haven't come across any organisation who isn't interested in that. I think the leap is, whilst they're interested, are they then prepared to go and invest in that type of solution or product? Because as has traditionally been the case, and you know, going back to when recycled products began in the office supplies sector, there is, with some products, a higher price point that comes with some of those products. So you do get a little bit of, people will talk the talk, but maybe always won't walk the walk. Now, lots of organisations are, but it still then becomes we're really interested. However, for this this project, we've only got this much money, and it doesn't fit in it. So I think it's still in that classic situation of, yes, it's of interest to everyone. Not everyone, though, will then follow that up by investing in that product. But as I say, I think certainly the desire is to be there. But like you say, you know, the economy is having certain tough situations that maybe don't allow people. So actually, it's not maybe that they don't want to, but maybe they can't necessarily at that moment afford to.
There you go, folks. That's it from this episode. We're cutting it shorter today, primarily because we just don't want to waffle, but also because it is the summer holidays. We want you to spend more time with your children, with your loved ones. Get out in the fresh air whilst you can, because very soon it'll be A, the colder months, and B, everyone will be back to madness. So running around like blue arse bottle flies.
And we'll save all our waffling for then, Graham. We'll save all our waffling for the cold times.
Come back when it's cold with a pasty in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, we'll sit around the fire and we'll chew the cud. So this is it for today. Thanks to our special guest who came on today as well. Really, really interesting. Do go and check out Easy Hampers, because I think that's a fascinating thing. Think about what you actually give to new employees within the business. Are you actually telling them something about the nature of your business, the ethos of your business, the values of your business, or are you just giving them something that they will maybe put on social media for 5 minutes but then forget? You know, making that big impact with someone when they actually join your business and setting the agenda in terms of health and well-being is really important. So we'll see you again soon. We'll be back at the same time, same place next Friday. Until then, bye for now.